In the rugged heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where mist-shrouded peaks pierced the sky and wild rivers carved through untamed forests, a bold experiment in American freedom flickered to life in the aftermath of the Revolutionary War. It was 1784, and the young United States was a fragile patchwork of states, burdened by war debts and frontier dreams. In what we now call East Tennessee, hardy settlers known as the Overmountain men, fierce pioneers who had crossed those very mountains to turn the tide at the Battle of Kings Mountain, yearned for something more than distant rule from North Carolina's coastal elites. These frontiersmen, with rough hands from plowing rocky soil and rifles ever at the ready against Cherokee raids, felt abandoned. North Carolina, eager to shed its debts, had offered up 29 million acres west of the Appalachians, a vast swath from the Alleghenies to the Mississippi, as a gift to Congress. This land, once leased from the Overhill Cherokee and birthplace of the short-lived Watauga Republic, was meant to pay off the nation's war bills. But Congress dithered, leaving the settlers to fend off native attacks alone, fearing the cash-strapped government might even sell them out to France or Spain. Enter Arthur Campbell, a visionary from Virginia's Washington County, and John Sevier, a charismatic war hero with a mane of determination. Campbell dreamed big, a new state sprawling across southwestern Virginia, eastern Tennessee, and chunks of Kentucky, Georgia, and Alabama. More pragmatic, focused on the old Washington district, the eastern slice under North Carolina's thumb. Their whispers of independence spread like wildfire through log cabins and frontier taverns. But Virginia's Governor Patrick Henry, a land speculator who loathed losing territory, squashed Campbell's broader ambitions with a stern law. Undeterred, Sevier and his allies pivoted, renaming their proposed haven Franklin, and appealing to the wise Benjamin Franklin himself for endorsement. Franklin, ever the diplomat, politely demurred in a letter, citing his unfamiliarity with the details. Yet the name stuck, evolving to Franklin in hopes of swaying the great inventor. By August 1784, in the dusty streets of Jonesborough, delegates from Washington, Sullivan, Spencer, now Hawkins, and Greene counties gathered in a raucous convention. They declared independence from North Carolina, electing Sevier as their reluctant governor, Landon Carter as Senate Speaker, and David Campbell as judge. A constitution was drafted in December, barring lawyers, doctors, and preachers from the legislature, a cheeky nod to keeping power with the common folk. Though the document failed in referendum, they pressed on under North Carolina's old rules. The drama escalated in May 1785, when a delegation petitioned Congress for statehood as the 14th state. 7 states voted yes, but it fell short of the 2/3 needed under the Articles of Confederation. Rebuffed, Franklin morphed into a de facto republic. Greeneville became the new capital, a humble cluster of wooden buildings where the government assembled blocks from North Carolina's rival offices. They annexed 5 new counties, set taxes payable in corn, tobacco, apple brandy, or deer hides. Barter ruled in this cash-poor land. Paid in pelts, governed with a frontiersman's grit, granting a 2-year tax holiday to spur growth. But shadows loomed. Relations with the Cherokee were a powder keg. The federal Treaty of Hopewell in 1785 affirmed Cherokee sovereignty over much of southern Franklin, yet settlers pushed south. In 1786, Samuel Ware negotiated the Treaty of Coyote for Franklin, extending white claims to the Little Tennessee River, heart of the Overhill towns. Dragging canoes, fierce Chickamauga faction resisted, sparking raids that tested Franklin's mettle. By 1786, cracks widened. North Carolina, regretting its Cession rescission, offered to forgive back taxes if Franklin rejoined. The offer was spurned, prompting Carolina troops under Colonel John Tipton to reclaim courts and jails in Jonesborough. 2 governments now clashed side by side, one bold and makeshift, the other backed by state might. Tensions boiled over in the Battle of Franklin in February 1788, leading over 100 men through a blinding snowstorm, besieged Tipton's home to reclaim seized slaves. A skirmish erupted. Shots cracked the frozen air, wounding several and claiming 3 lives. Sevier retreated, his forces bloodied. Desperation bred intrigue. As Chickamauga and Chickasaw attacks intensified, Sevier sought Spanish loans, even flirting with foreign rule. Arrested by North Carolina in August 1788, he was dramatically freed by Loyalists and fled to Lesser Franklin south of the French Broad River. A rump government clung on until 1791, when the Southwest Territories Governor William Blount brokered the Treaty of Holston, ceding Cherokee lands to the United States and ending the dream. Franklin faded after 4.5 turbulent years, absorbed back into North Carolina before becoming part of Tennessee in 1796. Its boundaries, encompassing modern Johnson, Carter, Sullivan, Washington, Greene, Hawkins, Unicoi, Cock, Hamblin, Jefferson, Sevier, and Blount counties, would have made it the fourth smallest state by area, smaller than Connecticut but larger than Delaware. With today's estimated 930,000 residents, it ranks sixth smallest by population, ahead of Wyoming. Imagine a twist of fate. What if those 7 yes votes in Congress had swayed just a few more? Picture the Articles bending and Franklin rising as the 14th state in 1785, its borders etched in permanence amid the misty Smokies. The United States map transforms. North Carolina slims. Tennessee emerges later as a truncated western sibling, perhaps called Tennesseea, or splintering further into smaller entities like Sequoia or Cumberland. In this alternate America, Franklin becomes a bastion of rugged individualism, its barter economy evolving into a haven for independent traders and moonshiners, resisting federal overreach. John Sevier, hailed as the father of Franklin, serves multiple terms as governor, forging alliances with the Cherokee through Ware's treaties, leading to earlier integration. The Chickamauga Wars fizzle out by 1790, sparing bloodshed and fostering a unique cultural blend. Appalachian Scots-Irish grit mixed with Cherokee wisdom, birthing a state motto like Mountains of Freedom. Westward expansion accelerates differently. Without Franklin's absorption, the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 sparks debates. Franklin, with its Mississippi ambitions, pushes for quicker southern routes, perhaps accelerating the Trail of Tears but also creating buffer zones that mitigate native displacements. By the 1820s, Franklin's small size and anti-slavery leanings, rooted in its yeoman farmer base, tilted toward abolitionism, unlike slave-heavy Tennessee. In 1861, as the Civil War erupts, Franklin sides firmly with the Union, its Overmountain descendants forming regiments that harass Confederate supply lines through the Appalachians. The war's end sees Franklin emerge as a Reconstruction powerhouse, its compact geography fostering industrial booms in timber, mining, and early hydroelectric power from the Tennessee Valley. No TVA needed here? Franklin pioneers it independently, becoming the electric state by 1900, powering the South's electrification. Culturally, it spawns a distinct identity. Think Nashville's music scene, but amplified in Greeneville, birthing bluegrass legends and hosting the first Appalachian Folk Festival in 1890. Politically, its 2 senators often play kingmaker in a divided Congress, blocking expansions like the Mexican-American War or advocating for native rights, altering the Indian Wars. Fast forward to today, 2026. Franklin stands as a quirky, prosperous microstate, its 930,000 souls boasting the nation's highest per capita craft distilleries and ecotourism spots in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which it co-manages with North Carolina. In a 51-state union, with Puerto Rico and D.C. joining later, Franklin's libertarian streak influences national debates, pushing for states' rights on issues like cannabis legalization. It was first in 2010, and cryptocurrency mining in its hydropower-rich valleys. The U.S. might be more fragmented, with movements for new states like Jefferson in California succeeding, inspired by Franklin's pluck. Its existence tempers Southern secessionism. The Civil War ends sooner, slavery abolished in 1863, accelerating civil rights by decades. America, more decentralized and diverse, thrives as a looser federation, where the spirit of those Overmountain dreamers echoes in every holler. This lost republic, reborn in imagination, reminds us how fragile borders and bold visions shape destiny.